Hello again. If everything has worked well, you have already heard me explaining what coil is. I want to say Jambo, buen dia, a tothom. Good morning all. So what we are going to see in this video is a short presentation of the Work Package 5. That's the inter-university partnership. We're going to go through the proposal description. What does the description that we submitted say about the project? Also explain how are we going to do it, or we plan to do it. What do we need to have a good COIL project, very briefly. And then the Q&A question and answers, where actually the most important part of the session will happen. So we're going to start with the definition. What do we mean with inter-university partnership? Our objective is to enhance inter-university partnerships and associated facilitating an environment for evidence-based education on food systems and climate change by identifying opportunities for in-house internationalization or internationalization at home, as I explained on the former video, and building capacity on collaborative online international learning at the partner universities. This is supposed, and I say supposed, I'm going to explain this later, to happen between month 8 and 34. The work package is going to be led by the Rovira, Virgili, the university that I represent, but also co-led by our colleagues at the Makerere University. There are 5 tasks, 2 milestones, and 2 deliverables that we're going to find. So I wanted to put this graphic in here because we do need every step to work well to finally fly. I don't want us exploring the unknown universe, but to fly with a lot of secureness. So every step is important. We're going to start with the internationalization status, where we are going to check what is the context. I'm going to explain this a little bit more detail in the next slide. We're going to prioritize some modules where we can implement COIL. Together with Work Package 3, we're going to find out which are the courses where we can implement COIL in a better way. Then we're going to integrate COIL. That means train the lecturers that are going to develop it, prepare the set for its success. Of course, we need to test the COIL. We need to test if we can fly before we want to fly higher. And then once every step is a successful step, we're going to have the tools to also disseminate and share the knowledge that we have learned through this project. So, going into detail. Task 1, internationalization status, means conducting an evaluation of partner universities, internationalization, but also digital strategies. We need to compare the policies that we have. We might need to conduct surveys to identify where we want to implement COIL, and of course assess the resources that we have at hand to implement this collaborative task. This will be coordinated by the Rovira and the Rovira, but all the African universities will develop all the tasks. And will happen, you will see a calendar afterwards between the 3rd and 4th period of year 2. But of course, and this is very important, we need to coordinate with Work Package 2 and Work Package 3. In the task 2, we're gonna be able to select what kind of food system and climate change modules are open or are ready to have COIL implemented. In this task, we also share the insights of the internationalization evaluation, that's what we just explained, and introduce the COIL features and potentials with case examples. In task 3, we're going to implement or integrate COIL. That means find the lecturers that can work together in each university, train these lecturers that can implement COIL, design or at least provide some assistance for the design and implementation of COIL, integrate the insights that the research labs might have found. So we might even can work together with these research labs and implement COIL in one of these. That's a complex situation, but we can work in this scenario as well. We will start developing the manual that we will have to deliver at the end of the project. So once we start the training, we start identifying what are the needs that our lecturers have and already have some insights for this manual. And the description of the project says that we are going to appoint coordinations in this phase, but maybe we find ourselves in the need of identifying these coordinators before. So we can discuss that if you like. In the task 4, we already test the COIL activities, we implemented, we see what goes wrong, we see could maybe not go wrong, but could be better. What are the things that we could improve? And this way we learn by testing all these COIL activities. And within task 5, we have the dissemination opportunities. That is the training of the trainings report. We're gonna design a course for the lecturers that are going to implement COIL. All this will generate a report that we can disseminate, and also the manual. What are the milestones and the deliverables of the project within, this work package number 5? We have 2 milestones or 2 outcomes that we need to meet, and 2 outputs. The first milestone is in month 15. We will have identified which of the modules that we have selected can actually implement COIL. And by month 34, we will have already, that's the end of the project, we will have already implemented COIL activities in some of our courses, and we will be ready to check and review how these activities have been gone. By the end of the project, we will have a manual that will serve us as guidelines for future cooperative action, and we will also have to present a report with a short description of the training of the trainers, perhaps the participants, the learning outcomes, and this kind of things. This is a calendar, a description of what the project says. In dark orange, you see what is stated in the description of the project. So the first task should happen by the end of year 2, half and end of year 2. But I put in light orange that it could start earlier. As in task 2, this will happen between the end of year 2 and beginning of year 3, but we can start checking, evaluating, analyzing which kind of modules can be open for that. Actually, if you see some lines before, after this, the first milestone is in month 15. By month 15, we will have to have the module selected. So it's an ongoing work that will be finished on the month 15, this prioritization. The task 3 means the integration. This should start once we have the module selected and will last until the beginning of the year 4, but I put in orange, in light orange, that it can continue, because of course we can find other modules, not the prioritized ones, but other modules afterwards that also want to implement COIL. So we can integrate this in following modules. The testing is at the end of the project, but I again put in yellow and light orange that it could start before if we're ready for it. And the dissemination, we need to have it done by the end of the project. So we need the manual, we need the report by the end of the project. But that is, of course, an ongoing work that we can start already thinking of. As I said, the milestone number 1 or 8 in the project is the prioritization of the modules. That will happen in the month 15. And the second milestone is the COIL that is already implemented. That's by the end of the project, month 34. As a deliverable, we have the manual and we have the report. Again, in lighter yellow, you have when we can start working or thinking about it, at least brainstorming together. This can already happen in this kickoff meeting. And the report, we will need to implement the training, but once we implement the training, we start thinking how it's going to be. We are already working on this report and as a final deliverable. So how are we going to do all this? First of all, together with work package 2 that you will listen afterwards, we're gonna run the university policy review. We're gonna ask ourselves, do we have an international strategy? What does this international strategy say? Do we have a digital strategy? Is there any capacity development program for teachers already running at our university? Does the country perhaps have any regulation in this field? I know our lucky Dutch colleagues have grants for the teachers that implement COIL, and this comes from the government. This is not something that we have in Spain. So how are our different countries relating to this? Can we also map evident and non-evident or hidden preconditions for the implementation of COIL? This is the policy review. Then we're gonna, of course, develop a train the trainers or training of trainers. In the project, it is stated that we will train at least 12 lecturers that will implement COIL activities, at least in 4 prioritized activities. This will happen, this prioritization, with work package 3. So we're gonna be working together in several points. And these already trained teachers will be able to transmit their knowledge to further professors within their universities. In another perspective, of course, we're gonna implement and test the activities that we are going to develop. So we are gonna actually implement COIL activities, and through this learning, provide useful guidelines. And it is also planned to do an on-site training in Kampala, Uganda. As far as I know, you're going to decide, depending on several questions, when is this training actually going to happen. So I'll leave it here for now. So, very briefly, what do we need to have a good COIL project? I wanted to introduce this here to, in one sense, lower expectations, and in the other, remind you that everyone can do COIL. So first of all, we need an informative session, not only for our students, but also for the teachers that are going to implement COIL. So you come there with a lot of mess in your head, and you have someone explaining you how it actually works and helping you having clear ideas. Then we need to know each other. No matter if it's online, we need to provide some ice-breaking activities for students to interact in a more easily way. So there is an icebreaker activity also for students, also for the teachers, where we need to present ourselves and get to know each other. Once this is done, we do work together. There is a collaborative task that we need to develop together, but we can do this from all parts of the world. As I said in the previous video, there are very successful COIL activities that don't require high demanding technology. So we need to be creative on how we want to work, what we want to work, and then provide a proper design, proper instructions to make it happen. Once it is finished, we do need feedback. We need to listen to our teachers. How has it gone? What have you learned? What could work better? And of course, very importantly, we also need to listen to our students, the ones that have actually, developed the COIL activity. Where have they found some difficulties, and what are the challenges they met, and what they take from this valuable experience. And if we are lucky enough, by the end of the activity, we have a new friend in the other part of the world. So that's all from the presentation. I'm gonna share with you now some questions that I would like to tackle. First of all, do partners envisage any adjustments in the COIL implementation steps that we have written in the proposal? So does everything that you have heard sound feasible? Is any part that you would discuss, that you would criticize? We are in a co-creation work package as well, so we're here to listen. What challenges do you foresee if you envisage, or if you look at this work package from your own institution? We want to see what are the problems, what might be the obstacles that you will find, and of course, what opportunities, what are the benefits that you may think of within this work package. That's all from my side. I want to say asante for your attention and looking forward to discussion. Thank you.